sleeping on the job back there, Danny. You don't need to sell anything in this one, but you gotta be ready. There we go. Live chat. Chat publicly. Super moderator. Present and ready for, what should I put on here? Super moderator. Present for duty, sir. There we go. Not president. Not Sierra. Come on, there we go. Hello, Stacy. Super moderator, present for duty, sir. I just have some case knives up here, and I'm not going to talk too much about them. Just sit up here. This is just for chat, basically. Just talk to people. Oh, you got all the emojis. That one that does when I put these up, they're a lot more readable. But when YouTube gets a hold of them, man, they're really hard to recognize. But anyway, yeah, I couldn't sleep. I'm gonna mail off Cody's winnings this morning, and I woke up at midnight. Of course, there's nothing to watch on midnight. They had a 1935 John Wayne Western, which might not have been too bad to do one of my Williams Wild Westerns on, but because it probably isn't copyrighted. Some of those old ones are public domain. But it was coming in pretty bad. It was digital. Yep. YouTube does suck. Yeah, I had I've got a bunch of old NBC stuff, nuclear, biological, chemical, that type of stuff. And I was gonna, mess around with this thing. It's a calibrator and tester and reader for a radiological dosimeter. And I had two of them in the back of my Jeep. When they broke into my Jeep and stole everything, they stole these, but these are. And what you do with these things is it's got this little tube in here with something that's sensitive to radiation. And you look through here, and that little test thing has a light on it, and it looks down and it looks at this, earthquake. It looks at, there's a scale like a reticle there from like 0, I think it's 0 to 200. I can see it in strong light if I look at it. Yeah, it goes 0 to 200. Right now it's sitting on 20 on the scale. And that's not good if this would have been accurate, because I zeroed it the other day. And now it says I picked up 20 rads. And there's different ways they read that stuff, rotogens and rads and all this other stuff. But this thing was right. So the theory behind this was, if you're working around radiological materials, you would wear one of these, like a little pin, clipped on your shirt and everything. And as you walked around and did your duties and everything, this thing would tell whether or not you're picking up some radiation, because radiation you can't see, smell, or taste. You could be, and if you get 200 rads, you're what happened to Jason Brown? I didn't hear about that. But yeah, if you get 200 rads, you're toast. There's no use even having one of these things on, because you're not going to make it. What happened to where's my? What happened to Jason Brown? I haven't heard. I've been kind of out of the loop on some of this stuff. What? That is terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Man, Jason Brown is another regular, that was always in everybody's live streams, always chatting, always having something good, to say. God. Monday night, huh? Jeez. That's the thing. That's mortality has been weighing on my head, and it's basically what I've been thinking is that they say live every day as if it's your last. You know, well, if you really try to do that, I can tell you a crazy story about that, where things went really bad because I was living each day like to the fullest, and like there was no tomorrow, and most of the time there's going to be a tomorrow. uh, but the main thing is more, I think, it's like, how are you going to be remembered? See how Jason Brown is remembered. He's remembered. uh, God, he's remembered, as a good guy. He's not going to be remembered as, whoo, you know it's a good thing that person's gone. That you're not going to hear that, with him, and that's your legacy basically in life. It's not going to be your knife collection. It's not going to be all this other stuff. It's how did people interact with you? Did they remember you fondly, or are they happy that you're gone? You know, and that once you're dead, you're dead. It's not going to matter, to you anymore. But I would like to think that if people remember anything about me, is that I was funny. You know, I mean, you can think of anything else, but and I don't have to be funny. I'm not like craving laughs and all this other stuff. It's just the idea behind it, and it's the idea behind being kind to other people and doing something for someone else. Is that that's its own reward, man. When you make somebody else happy, like you give somebody else a knife, and they like knives. It doesn't matter what kind of knife it is. If they're happy to get it, then that joy that you get of giving them a knife can't be measured. It's just like um, charity, giving food to starving people and stuff. Uh, you're not hungry, and they are. You give them some food, and they thank you and everything. You're making a major impact in somebody's life in a positive way, and I think that's what we need to do more often in here. Is enjoy life while we've got it, and make a positive impact on other people's lives. I mean, if you do that, I think you're doing pretty good as a human being. Where none of us are perfect. We all have flaws. We all have, like I said before, issues. We've all got issues. Um, but the way we interact with one another can determine what type of people we are going to be. If I have an argument with, let's say, because Stacy's the only one up right now. Let's say I have a disagreement with one of Stacy's memes or something. It's not even Stacy, It's just a meme that she posted up there. And I say something like that. And then we start going off, back and forth, arguing and everything. And then Stacy's crowd gets her side that likes the meme, and I get my side that doesn't like the meme, and we go back and forth. And in the end, what are we fighting over? A meme. What we're fighting over is that we have a difference of opinion. That's okay. It's perfectly fine for two people to have a difference of opinion. It's how you handle it. How do you resolve it? If if the first thing that Stacy says to me that I disagree with, if the first thing that she says, I immediately switch to profanity, start an ad hominem, which is a personal attack, start a personal attack on her that has nothing to do with her argument and everything. You already know that you're dealing with somebody that's easily triggered, and is not going to listen to logic. You know, the main thing about logic and arguments is you can find what's known as logical fallacies. I think there used to be like 10 of them or something. I don't remember them all, but If somebody's arguing with you and they switch from trying to attack the issue to attacking the person, in logic, they have lost. They have lost the logical battle because the only thing left for them is verbal or physical attacks on you personally. That's the only way they can win. Because they just conceded that they don't have an argument. What they have is an issue. And man, like I said, we've all got issues. I mean, a lot of people have got issues, and as long as you can contain your issues and you can manage them, you can interact with other people, then you know nobody's asking for everybody to be a saint or be perfect in life. We all know it's not possible. Um, but anyways, yeah, our world is is drastically changing, and a lot of times the arguments are basically narrowed down to like a meme. You know, for some reason, people don't have more than a 15-second attention span, according to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. They love that stuff. That's I get that way too. If I see too many shorts, I get to where I'll click off to something if it's not holding my attention constantly. Well, come on, man. Our brains are not that shouldn't be that childish. We should be able to entertain complex ideas, and not just jump to conclusions or need constant stimulus, we should be able to look at things also that are not what we normally look at, a difference of opinion. Like if somebody says that, they're an environmentalist or something, and you're a duck hunter or something, and they say, you can't use lead bullets anymore because you're going to kill all the ducks. They're going to eat it and die. Well, if science backs that up, and there's a viable alternative and everything, that may be fine. But if it was based on a lie and it wasn't true, a lot of times they'll just stick with the lie. They'll just say, that's it. Lead is toxic. Well, yeah, lead is toxic. And it pollutes all this other stuff. Well, then you get into steel shot patterns differently, and on old guns it would wear the bores out and all that other stuff. I don't know if they've ever solved that, but when in the 80s that was a big issue. A lot of people were having to switch over from steel to lead shot. And if it helps prevent, unnecessary killing of birds and everything, I can understand that. If the logic is sound behind what they want to do and they offer a viable alternative, fine. But a lot of times politicians now, if they don't have the votes for what they want, then they'll try sneaky tactics and stuff, like a 2,000% tax on something that they don't like. Let's say they don't like, rust locks. They don't like rust locks because you can open it with one hand. And they tried to ban rust locks, but too many people liked them and they couldn't pass it. So when a special little appropriations bill passed late at night, nobody can read it, 2,000-page bill or something, nestled in there, they tuck in that, there's going to be a tax on case rust locks of 1,000%. And they don't say anything else about it, And if the whole bill passes, guess what? There's a tax on rust locks for 1,000%. Well, most people are not going to be able to afford it. They're going to like, man, that was expensive to begin with, but 1,000%. Now, I learned something I only had like 2 years of college, and it was after I got out of the military and using my GI Bill. And one of the things I learned in there is a professor said this one time. He said, the power to tax is the power to destroy. And if you think about how our country was founded, they were protesting taxation without representation. They were being taxed, but they had no voice, no say in their government. I think they just should have protested against taxation and left out the whole representation part out, because our representatives are not representing us anymore. But I don't want to get into a whole bunch of politics. I'm just, this is where a kind of a early morning, late morning rant. I haven't done a live stream in a while. and it's just a chance to interact with somebody like Stacy. At least I've got one person here, Stacy, and my super master moderator. He's keeping everything chill in here. But yeah, I with all the stuff that on YouTube, man, all the doom and gloom you hear. I understand, the preppers want us, to be prepared and everything. And I am, but just constantly, every day, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. Oh, look at this bill. Oh, you need to get this right now. Oh my God. You know what? If uh, if the crap hits the fan type situation, I don't care what it is, you're not really going to be prepared for it, no matter how prepared you think you are. The main thing is adapting and learning how to adapt and adjust to changing situations, because you could be prepared. I was into survivalism and being prepared in the 80s. All right. After I got out of the military, I started looking at it and I started saying, oh, I need this, I need that. And I realized that to be a good prepper, you basically have to double your income, because you're trying to put away half of what you normally need and everything. And you realize after a while, yeah, I did this or this, but there's some gap. Like you forgot about a toothbrush. I remember one time we bought like 1,000 toothbrushes to figure that'd be enough to last me and my wife the rest of our life. I don't know whatever happened to them. I used a lot of them on gun cleaning stuff and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, it's consumerism. The rich are definitely going to survive because they've got everything prepared. You know, it's always about the elites controlling the masses, and they usually got it. They usually got away with it because most people didn't know how rich they really were and how few they really were and how much they were controlling everything. But all you've really got to do is look at the difference of income disparity between the rich and the poor in the United States and look at it. Ask people what they think the chart would look like. It's a bar graph. Ask people what they think it would look like. And most of them think like, you know, it's like there's a few poor on this end, then it goes up, to like the middle class, and then it kind of tapers down, and then there's just a few more, just a very few more very rich people, and that's it. In reality, I mean, I've lived through the 2007 financial situation. I eventually basically lost my house, through all that. But uh, what happens is the poor down here, there is almost no middle class, and there is a spike of the rich people that goes off the chart, off way, way up there. The people that own, the number of people that own most of the wealth in the United States is a very small number. Uh-oh. I don't know how I got this thing turned on. We have an accident. But, and the people telling you, buy gold and buy silver and everything. Really, you know what's going to happen if you're not prepared for, like, if you don't have simple things like extra food set aside, you're going to use all that gold. It's going to cost you 3 ounces of gold for 1 can of beans, because you didn't prepare. You thought, oh, I'm protecting all my wealth, you know. Those freeze-dried foods that I was just, yeah, Danny, he creeps in there. Those freeze-dried Mountain House foods and stuff that I was buying before all the panic and everything, they were about like $7 or $8 at Walmart if you found them up there in the camping section, and on Amazon and everything, they're about the same price, like 8. Walmart, I mean, Amazon usually charges a little bit more for delivery and everything, even though it's Prime. The prices are up a little bit higher on stuff. Man, I have watched that stuff to going to super high to unavailable. All Mountain House food cans were gone. All Augustin Farm canned foods, freeze-dried foods were gone. And they only recently started coming back on Augustin Farms, but they haven't on Amazon. Powdered whole powdered eggs, a number 10 can, was usually about like 30 or $40. Which, if you think about back then, the price of eggs and a number of Eggs you would get out in the can. It worked out okay, considering it was a long storage life. That thing went from $30 to 103, 130 bucks. Come on, man. So not only is food going to be scarce, even if you got the money, it's not going to be available. Yeah, you're going to need your gold and silver to buy that can of food that if you would have just set a little money back. So the only reason why I talk about freeze dried food and all that other stuff is I live in an apartment. I can't farm stuff. We have no common area, that I can slap a garden in. So basically, when you get older and everything, you realize that you can't really bug out. You're just going to have to bug in, because really, I mean, I try to walk around like for a mile every day and everything, but I can't always do it. And that's without a pack on me, and that's without anything else. And that's another thing. That's just like when they say, pick your 3 favorite knives, pick all this other stuff. Um, have you ever tried to do that? Have you ever tried to sit there and look at all your possessions and say, okay, I got to get out of here quick. What am I going to take with me? You're going to realize you left so much stuff behind that was vital. You just can't carry it all. I mean, you just can't. And then you've got to have a place to bug out too, So I don't fear death. I'm not afraid of death, but I mean, it's just been, it's that constant fear. I was watching, through this whole big mess, I've been watching a few voices of reason, and one of them was Peak Prosperity. He was the very first one that warned me that the stuff coming over from overseas was airborne. You know, it was airborne, and everybody was worrying about temperatures, and they were saying also asymptomatic. Well, geez, why are you letting people travel around if you know you can't control it? And it was, oh my God. But he also was aware that it was one of the very first ones that said, look at this cleavage site right here. This is not natural. This doesn't happen. And he broke it down. Of all the animals available that, normally things will mutate from, none of them match this site. None of them. None of them. It's not, it, you know, it didn't come from where they say it come from. Then all of a sudden, here we come. America, land of the free speech. All right, here you go. You can say anything you want. Thank you, Robbie. Hello. I'm just rambling about crap here. All of a sudden, now there's things that I would have loved to said. I had done many a video where I sat down there and talked about what was going on, what my feelings were about it, why I thought it was wrong, what I thought was wrong about it. And I realized, man, if I put this up, YouTube is not only going to take it down, they're probably going to slap my wrist or something, and say, you not only, can't do this, you've got a strike. And if you do one more, why did I get a strike? Because you're not following the party narrative. Party narrative? I thought this was... No. Freedom of speech only applies to the government restricting your speech. We're a private entity. We can do whatever the hell we want. Oh, okay. So, people have to jump platforms and everything to try to be able to say what we should be able to say. If my argument is like, hey, there's something strange about this origin statement that they're talking about. I'm trying to not say, see, now we can't even say things. We've got to speak in code. We're like Navajo code talkers. They'll never break this code. Because if you say certain words now, you'll get the big blue thing that says, hey, if you want factual information, go to the government site that has lied to you and changed their story constantly on this. So, yeah, the people that we put in power that were supposed to protect us and supposed to watch this, they're scientists. That's their whole job. They study this stuff. We trust them to be the knowledgeable ones. They lied to us. Why? Money. These sites that they refer you to as the factual information, 75% of their income comes from pharmaceutical companies. Isn't that strange? Isn't that odd? and the very guy that said, I will never mandate that people take the vitamins. I will never make people take vitamins. That's a medical decision between you and your doctor. It's optional. As soon as that sucker got into power, all right, I'm going to make it mandatory. You got to take vitamins or you can't work. You've got to prove that you're healthy. I don't care if you've had this thing before. You've got to take our vitamin. Our vitamin is much better. All these things were proven lies later on. It's scientifically proven. I'm not making this crap up, and I'm not going to research it either, you know. I should be able to speak my stuff without having a big reference thing up here. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Prove that I'm wrong, you know. I am not spreading false information. I am not anti, vitamin. I've taken vitamins most of my life, you know. I was in the military. They make you take vitamins. You have no choice. You line up and they just jab you on both arms. You just walk through like a gauntlet. And who knows what you got. But you volunteered. You agreed, you know. I'm going to serve my country. I'm going to risk my life if I have to protect my country. Whatever they tell me to do, I trust them, you know. And yeah, what does that usually get you? You know, when you're young and dumb, you'll do anything. But anyway, the whole thing behind it is America that we know, as far as like even interactions with other people, we used to be somewhat civilized. But when you start getting things anonymous, like YouTube, it allows people to become, I'm still wound up about this. It allows people to become bullies. You know, if you are having a normal conversation with somebody, a normal interaction, it's all friendly. There's no sign that there's anything wrong with them or anything. And then out of the blue, they send you a message, you know, that not only filled with hate, starts off with an ad hominem attack, but immediately, you know, goes into how they're going to get you. And this person has, you know, had um, a history of threatening to physically track down people. Well, I'm not afraid of that. I'm just saying that type of behavior should not be allowed between us and our community. You know, it shouldn't be condoned. It shouldn't be allowed. If they private message you and threaten to put you out in public, put them out in public. Now, I was going to do that. I was going to say, all right, go for it. Let's go, you know. But I've seen these dumpster fires before. Man, they're bad. Because this person isn't all bad, all right? This person is somebody that's, you know, been in the knife community. He's got his different ideas and opinions about stuff, but, you know, he's a knife guy. The problem he's got is with his interaction with other people. If anybody disagrees with what he has to say, he goes all out on them. And if it's a person in the chat that disagrees with him, he goes out all out on. And if anybody else says, well, you know, maybe that guy's, you know, got a point, he goes out on the guy that said maybe, you know, he's got a point. I mean, do not say, please leave comments in my channel. I love to see them. I love to hear them. And then when somebody leaves a comment in your channel, you threaten to, I don't know, you know, you call them all kinds of names, disparage their mom. I mean, just childish stuff, you know. That person, even though they look like they're a part of our community, I don't want to say he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, because this person does not have a wolf mentality. They're not an alpha predator. They're a parasite, in my opinion. You can classify them there with the I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get into a big attack on this person, because a lot of people already know who I'm talking about. And yeah, I considered us friends, you know. I consider that person a friend. And I found out how wrong you can be. And that's why I deleted Facebook. I think Bakery Wizard said, what's going on with YouTube? Because they just deleted my friends association with William on Facebook. And he didn't know what was going on. And I sent it out to him. I said, I deleted my Facebook account. I'll tell you why I deleted my Facebook account. It used to be pretty good. I could tell when where all my relatives were, kind of like what they were doing and stuff. And for a while I was into Facebook. And then they started, oh, hello, Cranky. Cranky's over here from Australia, so yeah, I'm doing all right, Cranky. It's okay. It's still hot here, but we're having a cold front will come. Almost 40 degrees centigrade yesterday. It was like 99 degrees here with humidity, and it's supposed to be fall. But yeah, just the normal stuff, man. It's normal stuff going on here. You know how occasionally we had drama in the lock sport community. Well, I had something similar to the one that made me leave my lock sport channel, and I'm getting over it basically. But I had a friend, quote unquote friend, known pillar of the community, or supposedly or something, just out of the blue, go off on a comedy skit. What I did with a dinosaur. He thought I was making a joke about him, and oh man, that's just so bizarre. When that's how strange shit happens, man. It's because you're not expecting it. It comes out of left field, you know, and that's why it gets you so much. You're like, wow, should I never have friends again? Should I shut down my YouTube channel? I already knew I was not going to shut down my YouTube channel. I wasn't afraid of this person or their threats. It upset me, you know. My heart rate went up. I was ready. Fight or flight. I was ready to fight. I thought about it and I said, no, calm down. Think before you post. Think before you open your mouth, Calm down. Think about the consequences of what would happen. Yeah, you can make this person look really bad. What's going to happen? If there's an easy out for this person, if you can do it without doing it, publicly out in them everything, then you give them a chance. All right, look, I call you out for what you are, all right? You're unstable and you don't know how to interact with people, all right? If you don't want if you leave me alone, I will leave you alone. I'm just letting other people out in the community be aware that the people that you think are friends are not always friends. That's true of any situation. And it's not slander because I didn't do this. It's not something I started, and then I'm going to sit there and come out and say, "All right, it's another thing. Another thing that is very true in this situation that I've seen on abusive situations and people that are delusional, and that is they will accuse you of something they're doing. All right, so if someone's disloyal to you, like your spouse, they'll accuse you of cheating on them while they're cheating on you. They'll get you all suspended. You're like, I'm not doing anything. And you're not looking at them. You're trying to defend yourself. And so if someone comes at you and they say, you're a hateful person. And then right after that, they throw nothing but hate at you. They say, you're a jealous person. And then you can tell by their actions, I have no understanding why someone would be jealous of me. Really. I'm an old guy, retired, living in an apartment, talking with plastic animals and stuff. You know, the people that I know are what I consider my value. I consider, I don't put a lot. I do appreciate, all the knives and stuff I've got, but I don't look at them as an investment. I look at them as things that I don't have to go to a store to look at. Like if I want to look at canoes and different canoe patterns, then I'll break out my canoe collection. And I'll sit there and I'll clean them and look at them and cut myself. Yeah, and that's my knife life. And I realized also, in a way with life and stuff, it involves also in cutting. You need to cut out toxic people out of your life if you want to have a healthy life. You will immediately get away from all kinds of drama and everything else. It'll be like calm. It'll be peaceful. You're like, wow, why didn't I think of this before? It's because you were lulled into thinking they were your friends. These people are very good at convincing you they're friends. If you look at con men or you look at serial killers, they're not what you would think. Law and Order, they've got a lot of those now, so people know this now. But Ted Bundy, look at Ted Bundy, He was not an ugly guy. He didn't look like your typical pervert, but God, that guy was going across the country slaughtering women, And some of them do, look like your typical psycho and everything else. But yeah, I had to allow another moderator just handle. Oh, we got another moderator in here. Oh yeah, I don't know. Do we? I said it was cool. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like you to say shit. They want you to say crap or something else. See? This is supposed to be for adults only. What is wrong with saying that word, man? I mean, I can understand other people might walk in a room and everything, but again, this is adult content. No, I don't care. That's all right. I just want to see what it does anyways, because I put it up for monetization. I looked at the new rules that they've got for monetization, and they break it down. They have like firearms content, and if you click on it and you look, if you check, because they're trying to get you to self-rate yourself, how whether your videos are suitable for ads. And usually the first box, if you check it, you can still run ads. It's not like you can't say this, but they talk about things like you can't show a firearm magazine capacity over 30 rounds. You can't show how to modify a gun, especially thermal sights for some reason. I mean, it's just all weird stuff. I click on them and I look at them, I'm like, no, no. The only one I've ever clicked on, yes, was like language occasionally, and um, drug use reference, because I had to do that one time when I was talking about um, Johnny. Johnny had a problem with drinking and substance abuse, and I thought, well, maybe that is. I said it's not promoting it. You can't promote it. You can talk about it, like recreational use and everything, but not to promote, illegal behavior and all that stuff. Oh, God, man, again, we're turning into a nanny state, where the government's got to sit over there and approve everything you do, because even though you're over 18 and you're an adult, we don't want to treat you like an adult. We're sorry. We're the adults. You are our children, and we'll take care of you. We'll take care of your security and your needs, and you'll just give us all the money you've got and obey every order we come up with. Man, America has changed. Land of the brave, home of the free. There's very few brave people out there, and the people that think they're free, man, they can be turned off from their freedom just like that. They can find some cause, like, you own your land. Yeah, we got to pay tax. You got to pay property tax. Oh, well, I can handle that. Oh, how much you pay it each month, each year? Let's triple that, quadruple that, 1,000% that. Oh, yeah, we'll give you an opportunity to object. You can object. And then again, the ability to tax is the ability to destroy. So this one really got into a political commentary late at night. But it gets me, man. It really bugs me, because I'm 65. I'm going to be 66. I was supposed to be able to work all my life, which I have. And when it comes time to retirement, I should be, fishing, have enough money to do all kinds of stuff, not have to worry about much. Now, man, if my rent, which comes up in February, which is a really bad time for rent to be due, lease. I mean, my lease is up, and they raise the rent just maybe $100 or $200. I'm forced to either get another job or move out, because I will not be able to afford housing, just housing. It almost is $1,000 for rent here, and that's what they want to raise it up. When I first moved here, it was $560 a month, and you had to pay for electricity, and the water was like $30 or something. There was no trash fee. There was no all these other things they've come up with, exterminator fee, all this. They just, and every year, I'd try to get it for a year. Every year when it came to renews, they would bump it up. They would always bump it up, and it would usually be a manageable amount. One year, wow, man, they hit me with like a $200 increase, and it wasn't just a rent. Oh, hello, Sue. Now I'm in a political rant about inflation, the way the world is, and how people are. And it's just an old guy talking about grumpy stuff, you know. Back in my time, see, that's why Danny Dino, man, and that's another thing with me with these characters. Some of these characters try to take over me in talking. I mean, in normal life, I'll catch myself, man. And no, people that don't know me, because a lot of people don't know me, think that I'm just an old country guy. Howdy there, Missy. How you doing? I could be anybody. You know, I could switch over. I've got this Pakistani voice that really doesn't fit my complexion and everything. But I could do that one too, and I could carry it on, you know, with a dialect, and it's funny, but I don't I know they do this with actors. I'm not saying I'm a good comedian and everything, but I get into this stuff, and man, I'll be, you know, I talk to myself a lot, but I'll be sitting there in the kitchen stuff, and I go, now you get your sugar out here. Now you don't want to get that over there, boy. And have you washed your hands? Oh, you haven't washed your hands, and you're handling food. That kind of, I go on with that, and anybody would be walking by, they would think that old man's arguing with somebody in there. Yeah, I'm arguing with somebody. They're all in my head. I was telling Tobias that too because he was talking about something. He goes, "I bought this knife for Skip," and I said, "You know, it's pretty bad when we're buying knives for our imaginary alternate personalities." And I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to get Scottish. That's a hard one too because there's a The problem, Stacy, with the English dialect is there's so many different areas, man. Like Nigel is really more of Australian than English, and the difference between Scottish and Irish, man, there's a big difference. And if you're gonna play, to me, if you're gonna play a dialect, you should do it as accurately as you can. You know, you shouldn't switch to a Texas drawl if you're trying to do Paddy's potato peelers or something, you know, in Ireland, and you're trying to do his accent, and then you switch over to Nigel's accent, which is like Australia. Yeah, yeah, that's and not a lot of people will catch that. I know you're like too critical about uh, what you're doing sometimes. Let me get a sip of orange juice over here. I put it over here where I would see it. But yeah, to me, the biggest thing in life, and again, you know, with Jason, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I saw about that too, Sue. He died apparently in a car accident on Monday, and that's why I was trying to say it's the way the world goes and everything. We need to try to be the best people we can because when we're gone, all people are going to have is memories of us. All right, they may have a knife or something, but that's going to trigger memories, you know. And if those memories are good, I don't want to be remembered as that jerk, you know. I don't want to. I don't want to be remembered as that guy that. Also, Stacy, let me know if they have like a. I'm sure they're going to do like a GoFundMe page for his family or something like that. Um, and somebody will probably take over that, like Big Red or Zach stuff. You know, somebody else will probably do that. Somebody's probably already established one, but yeah, I would like to contribute to that because I did contribute to a scam artist here, Munster Racing. You don't see him much anymore, but he was in the chats a lot too, and he was saying like he really needed help and stuff, and I sent him money. Now I don't worry that about the giveaway that he didn't do or that he finally eventually did and all that stuff. You know, that's just another one of those kind of like slicey dicey situations where the community kind of handled it. Sometimes they handle it, you know, easily, and sometimes it's pretty messy and sloppy. But you know, at first I was against the slicey dicey situation because he did pretty good reviews of knives, and he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know what was going on in the background, you know. I didn't know that he was asking for knives and then just saying, "Oh, I'll send them out," and never returning them. I mean, I'm forgetful too. That's just like this giveaway. As soon as I got verified Cody's address, my next mission in life is to get to the post office and mail his winnings out, you know? Because even though it didn't cost him anything, it's his property now, you know? And I owe it to him, you know, to get it to him. But yeah, that is terrible because like I said, Sue knows. Jason would pop into I think he's been in one of my live streams before too. and I don't do a whole lot of them. So yeah, it's just we can be gone. We really don't know. We really don't know how long we're gonna live. I remember when I was a kid, I was always praying, please God, let me live to be an adult. I just wanted to experience adulthood. I thought, wow, man, if I could live to experience to be an adult, I'd be happy. You know, how things change. You always want more time and stuff. But yeah, um, car accidents and stuff take a lot of people's lives. I drove a motorcycle for most of my life. I had a car also, but your odds of getting messed up and wiped out are much worse with a motorcycle. But yeah, people don't care anymore. They're usually under the influence of something, and they're driving around, like this guy with no insurance, without a care in their world, exceeding, speed limits or whatever, and they take out innocent people, you know, people that the world's going to miss. The person that was driving the car, the world would probably not miss, you know, and that's what it is. Just because you're a good person doesn't mean you're going to survive life. I don't want to get too morbid, man, but from the minute we're born, man, life is against us. There's always something trying to get us. And I always thought um, that it was going to be microorganisms. I was always telling everybody it was prepping. I said, yeah, I prep too, and I've got all these guns and everything, but it doesn't do much good against mosquitoes, you know. And all it takes is a mosquito to get up you and hit you with a virus that your system is not prepared to handle. Then what happens? Your guns and ammo and all that other stuff don't do you any good. Hello, Jock of Ages. Scotland. He's over in Scotland. There you go, Stacy. If you want to learn a Scottish accent, talk to Jock of Ages, and he'll probably talk to you, and if that's the way you learn accents a lot of times is being around it, hearing it, and speaking it. Now, Google Translate helps a lot with the actual uh, translation of the word, but they don't always get the enunciation right, and they screw up. So if you rely on Google Translate, you're gonna be in trouble. But yeah, I visited the tip of Scotland. I was at the very edge between Scotland and England. I camped there one time when I was in the military. I was stationed over there, and me and a buddy went up there, and all the English maps, the ordnance maps that they had over there, listed a huge forest where we were going. Those forests have been chopped down long ago, man. It was just flat fields with stone rocks around them and sheep. So we basically camped off the side of the road in some farmer's field. We set up a little camp in a corner of like one of those rock walls. Hello, Larry. Yeah, I'm just rambling here in the morning. It's I had some case knives up here that I was showing, and then I accidentally turned on the display thing, and it started knocking everything off because this this knife here is a little bit. It's a case hunter. But yeah, yeah, the tragedies that we have in our knife world, man. These are the real tragedies. The little dumpster fires that we have and stuff. That's petty stuff. What really matters in life, like I said, is how would you be remembered if you passed right away? How would people remember you? And to me, yeah, it's not really going to make any difference to me when I'm dead, whether people talk good about me or bad about me, whether they incinerate me or leave me out in the field for the buzzards to eat. Me as a person will be gone. The only thing that's going to be left of me is this YouTube channel, as long as YouTube keeps it up and everything. So for the people that want immortality, kind of like you've either got to be an actor or you've got to be on some media that's going to be preserved and captures some of your personality. So this is kind of like, even though it's two-dimensional, you're not getting everything, you know. But yeah, it's bad. England lost the Queen, so then that's like a death for a country, and they've been in mourning for a long time, and they're they're not supposed to have a lot of comedy and all this other stuff when that's going on, because it's kind of like it'd be disrespectful. And it's hard to do comedy here too when we have stuff like that, when somebody passed in there, or uh, e- the comedy skits that I do with this stuff is difficult for me because I have to be in the right mind, and I have yet I have yet to make one and edit the crap out of it or delete it. I usually just go with what it is, and yeah, that can set you up because subconsciously you might be thinking something, but when you're in somebody else's character mode and everything, man, when I'm Danny Dino, I'm Danny Dino. When I try to switch over to Nigel, that one is the hardest one, like I said, because Nigel's accent is Australian, and Danny Dino's is country, and to me, Australian is kind of like countryized English, you know, because they were from England originally, and they just developed their own dialect down there, and it really does have a lot of kind of like it's about the size of Texas, I think, anyway, but still, yeah, that's a I miss going around to a bunch of different places and stuff like that, but like I was talking about before, now there are all kinds of restrictions that you've got to prove that you take your vitamins. You got to prove you take your vitamins before you come in here, sir. Yeah, well, I took a one a day. Is that all right? No, no. You got to take the state approved vitamin right here. This right here. It hasn't been tested on mice. We tested it on mice. They seem to be all right. Yeah, but mice are different from people. No, no, it's okay. It's okay. Well, if I get in trouble, I'm going to sue this doctor. No, no, you can't sue anybody. You can't sue the doctor. You can't sue the manufacturer. You can't sue me. So go ahead and take it. I'm not asking you to. I'm telling you to. Well, wait a minute there, partner. This is America. You can't tell me to do anything. We're supposed to be a free society. We're not ruled by anybody. You're our servants. Uh-oh, uh-oh. We got a citizen over here, Johnny. Trying to get a little uppity. He thinks he's got rights. I got a Bill of Rights. I got at least 10 of them. Says so right there. No, no. That's why we got the Supreme Court there, buddy. It's to interpret what we think your rights are. If the Supreme Court says that you don't got a First Amendment right, then you ain't got a First Amendment right. There. Well, aren't they supposed to ratify the Constitution if they want to change it? It needs like a 2/3 vote of all the states to approve. No, no, you've been reading too much of that crap online, boy. This is modern days, 2022. We do things, government is done differently here. Who's your lobbyist? We want to know. Who's your lobbyist? Because that's going to be the guy that pays your paycheck. Not going to be these people out here. They ain't going to give you crap, man. We'll give you a lot of money. If you just tell them Danny Dinos is the best Dino Net company online, and we want you to get these other competing ones, get some unfair trade practices out for us. Would you like to do that? Unfair trade practice, that sounds good. And then it won't be against you, it'll be against your competitors. Yeah, so we'll get you elected. You just make sure that bill passes. We'll all be fine. Nobody will know what's going on. Here, take this bag of money with you on your way out. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, our system of government, behind our backs, while we've been quietly doing our lives and enjoying our lives, they've been screwing up our lives. All politicians, I don't care what country you're from, they have let you down. They have let you down. Show me one country where people love their government and love their politicians. I don't know of too many. Russia, they love their government because they've got a gun to their head. You see what they're recruiting? The age that they're recruiting? My God, man. 18 to 65. Whoa. Man, I would be recruited into the Russian army because if I had prior military experience, they're taking them. You're going to throw me over to Ukraine where nothing but body bags are coming back for a war? Russia's not being attacked. Oh, we can change that. We'll just call what's being attacked Russia. Now Russia's being attacked. Now we got a right to defend ourselves. You're idiots. Nobody's going to fall for that. Oh, yeah, they're going to fall for it. Or we're going to threaten the nukes with them. That'll teach them. That'll scare them. Put them in their little cubby holes. Sir, they got lots of nukes, too. Oh, yeah, but they're not going to use them. We'll use ours. They won't use theirs. We studied it lots of times. That's the way it goes all the time. We win. In all our simulations, we win. You're not winning now. Yeah, that's why we got to use these things. See, that's why I was breaking this stuff out, is I'm not really afraid of crap like that, going on. Because it's going to be localized, but eventually that shit's going to spread. Yeah, I just ordered a Western. It's going to come in, I think, tomorrow. A Million Ways to Die. It's a Million Ways to Die in the West, and I've seen lots of clips from it. But it's going to be hilarious, We think we got it good now, or that the good old days were good, man. It's going to be a funny video. But I've been waiting for it to be on Prime and stuff. Prime said I could rent it for like $4.99, and then they didn't really give me a way to rent it. They said you have to go to Amazon. The Amazon app to get it. I went to Amazon app and they had no way of renting it, but they had a way of buying it, and it was like $7.99. I figured, it's a DVD. I'll be able to watch it whenever I want. Because if you buy them, you got 30 days to watch it, but you got 48 hours to watch the movie. So if you start watching it, you got 48 hours to finish it. Well, are you really renting it? I mean, you're renting it for 30 days, but you ain't got 30 days to watch it. You should be able to rent it for 30 days. You'd get tired of the movie after watching it over and over for 30 days. And what does it cost them? Nothing. It don't cost them anything. It's a streaming, service when they do that. So you got to stream a little bit more. Man. Yeah, I'm sorry that I sound bitter, but our healthcare is profit-driven. Our politicians are profit-driven. Our economy and everything is driven off of more profit, more profit, more profit. And yet what we're going through right now is runaway inflation and stuff. They're trying to control it. This ain't really super runaway inflation. But yeah, we've been really let down for our country, and it's wrong. And the thing is, the people that actually are doing this will never be held accountable. The puppet masters never get it. They'll cut the strings of the puppet before they'll let you trace it back to the puppet master. No, and that's where they screwed up, because I learned this in college also. They had a thing when they would have a kind of like a revolution or something, was conspicuous consumption. I don't remember if it was a French Revolution or whatever. But anyways, the rich were just flaunting all their lavish crap, palaces and gold and everything. And meanwhile, the entire population, what they kept taxing the crap out of, was starving, dying, by the hundreds and thousands. And finally, the people said, you know what? We're not going to play this game anymore. Where are these guys? And then there was heads on poles, I'm not encouraging that. I'm just relating YouTube. I'm just relating a historic event. Look up the French Revolution. That's what I was talking about. I'm not encouraging this in the United States. As a matter of fact, I think we should handle things in a civilized manner. If your argument doesn't withstand the test of logic and everything, then you're wrong, It doesn't matter which side you're on. If you sit there and you tell people you're not going to do something, and then you turn around and do it, you're wrong. And just because you're president doesn't mean you're right. And that applies to any president, from any particular party. I'm not, like I said, I try to, I'm a middle child, all right? I had a younger sister and an older sister. So I'm used to being the mediator for stuff in life. And I try not to take one extreme position over the other, because you have to live with these people, these people that you are trying to demonize and call out and everything. They're your neighbors, or that's the guy that's going to put out that fire in your house, and or you dislike cops, he's the one that pulls you out of that burning vehicle, and saves your life. I hate to use that reference, man. I'm sorry. See how my head goes? It just pops shit right out of the top of it. But yeah, my thing is that freedom of speech is never free. It always costs people's lives to get that freedom. And when people have that freedom, they kick back. They relax. They say, we don't have to be vigilant anymore because, everything's cool. And meanwhile, the bad people in the background are scamming and plotting, scamming and plotting. How can we get more money? Well, if we make something mandatory and we don't make them pay for it up front, we have the government, which is funded by the people, pay for it. What a good trick that is. Here, this is free and required. Here, get your vitamin right here. Vitamin A. Take it. Take it. Take it. I'm allergic to vitamin A. Nah, we don't care. Take it. Take it. Hold his head. Take it. Here. Look at him volunteering. Volunteering. Now, you're a good citizen. Go over there and die. But I got side effects. There are no side effects to what we gave you. Everything is safe and effective. I hate that fucking word, man. Sorry. It isn't. And do they get called out for it? No. No, they don't. And they made this shit mandatory for everybody. Oh, man, this one's going to get banned. But this is my rant, man. You watch. I'm going to get the... you gave false information. I'm not giving false information. I'm not telling people to do anything bad. I'm not disagreeing with the stated political stance, whatever it is right now, current approved judge of, of our morality and what we can say. I'm just trying to say what's the truth. And a lot of times the truth is going to come out no matter how much you suppress it. Now, things that were once considered conspiracy theories and no longer allowed to be discussed are proven to be fact. Oh, wow. It might have been able to be proven to be fact if more people would have been able to discuss their objections to it. That's all we're saying. I guess what they don't want is they don't want a guy like in the 30s to get on a platform and use it as a platform, to promote his followers to do illegal things. We're not doing that when we're objecting to something that people are making mandatory that we take in order to have employment, in order to be able to travel. These things are usually things that a free society. We always talked about Russia, and we said, look at Russia, man. If you want to go from one county to another, you need a pass. You got to have your papers. You got to be checked. Man, that's just like the war we fought. You can't even say the Z word, the NZ word, because that was so bad that we got to where we can't even say it and we can't even show that symbol. All right, man, we should be able to say that, and we should be able to show that symbol and criticize it for what it is, But if you can't talk about something, if you're not allowed to talk about something, then we should question why we're not allowed to talk about it. What is the harm that's going to be caused by it? Riots, disruption, and everything? Only because you've been lying to us. If you wouldn't have been lying to, it's not our fault. It's not our fault to be upset that we've been lied to, Now, how we handle it, yeah, it's on us to not go and, set our city on fire because we disagree about, something that happened. The police did something wrong, so we're going to burn our city down. And you're not allowed to protect your property because we're in the right, The police did something wrong to that guy, and we're in the right to riot and burn things down. No, you're not right. You're not right to do that. Neither side was right with their using violence to obtain their means. You know, it's not right. The only time using violence is right to obtain means is when you're attacked. It's called self-defense. Self-defense from a country, self-defense from a person. When somebody's physically attacking you, nobody has a right to take away your life or property. I mean, it's written down in our Constitution, you know. And our Constitution is not something. It's not a doormat, you know, that you can just wipe on or wipe your feet off of, you know. It's just like burning the American flag. They think that would piss me off. Well, you know, a lot of people who are veterans, it does piss them off. But we're adult enough to not let us trigger us, and we also, most of us realize, I fought for your, or I was willing to fight for your, give my life for your right to do that, you know. And even though I disagree with you, I'm not going to object. I'm not going to say you can't do that. I'm not going to pass a law saying you can't burn the flag, you know. Even though I'm as patriotic as you can get and stuff, if we want to be a free society, we better stand behind what we're talking about, you know. So, I'll see you later, Sue. Yeah, sorry. I'm still doing my rant about politics and stuff. But yeah, I've been needing to say this one for a while too, and bottled it up because I always, you don't know the number of videos I've made in the middle of the night talking like this. Talking to myself though. I would do one of these, and at the end I would sit there and I'd go, okay, now let me see if I'm going to put it up. And I would look at the links and I would go, 1 hour? You've been running your mouth for 1 hour? And then let's look at what you said. Oh my God. And I self-criticize. You go through, and this is what they want. They want you to self-censor yourself so that you might have had the right to say something, but because it was wrong at one time, or because it might violate a policy or a rule, you're not going to say it. And I hate that, like I said, because we're supposed to be the representative country for democracy in the whole world. And democracy doesn't mean the most powerful man gets to take over, the richest person gets to control us. It should be that we're being governed by a consensus, that we all agree. And we're never going to all agree, but we can come, you know, to a conclusion where, hey, you know what? I think electric vehicles are good too. Why don't we have the infrastructure for that first before we mandate that gasoline is bad? Why don't we do that? No, that's going to come later. Meanwhile, our electrical grids, they're telling us, hey, when you get home, don't charge up your electrical vehicle at, you know, between the hours of 4 and 10 p.m. Who comes home working all day and has the energy after doing everything else, of, you know, not running your air conditioner and all that other stuff, to later on come out at night and hook up your vehicle so you'll have enough juice to get to work tomorrow? A juice on this grid that can't handle more electrical vehicles, you know? So it's good to have a policy. It's good to have an idea to want to go green and everything. I'm not against it. You know, I'd be perfectly fine with electrical vehicles and all the other stuff. But yeah, if you have the infrastructure and you're not, you know, when you say that gasoline is bad and cows are bad, and you start culling the herds and you start limiting the farmers from having gasoline, did you give them any alternative? Did you say, instead of raising this crop, raise this one? And what's your logic behind it? Carbon? You know, we really need to study. I'm not saying that climate warming is not happening. We can all see it and everything. But let's have a civilized discussion about how we're going to go about changing the stuff. Not just pass something that it's always flowery, you know. Inflation Reduction Act, which is gonna, I don't know. So yeah, I don't want to be hopeless, you know. I don't want my videos and stuff be doom and gloom. That's why I try to be, it's either going to be factual about knives and stuff, or it's going to be yeah, we're all going to be eating crickets. That's why I put some of my comedy in there too, because yeah, they got an idea that we shouldn't be eating meat and we should be eating bugs, and you can do that if you want. But again, don't mandate and don't sneak that stuff in on me, and don't make it to where beef is unobtainable because you culled the herds and now farmers can't do it. There's a push towards we as humans are not smart enough to take care of our own affairs. Therefore, we need a centralized government that will stop all the wars, stop all the famine, stop all the hunger. Here it comes. Here's your security. They're going to promise you security. And what are you going to have to give up? Freedom. It's always that way. If you want to be free, you have to be able to protect yourself. If you can't protect yourself, then you need the government to protect you. If the government's supposed to protect you, when shit hits a fan, the very first people that abandon ship are the people you were going to rely on. The police are going to worry about their own families. You know, everybody's going to be lawless and doing all this stuff that wants to, and there's going to be nobody to stop them. Who would be able to stop them? You, if you're allowed to protect yourself. But with a nanny government, you're not allowed to protect yourself. We'll send the protectors out for you. I'm not a sheep. I don't need to sit there and go along with the herd. Me. Please protect me. There's a wolf out there. If there's a wolf out there, I'm going to go hunt that sucker down. If he's a threat to me or the flock, I'm taking him out. I'll set a trap. If he's bigger than me, I'll get an equalizer. Cunning and everything and intelligence is going to get you more than brute force every time. You have to be able to use your brain. And they don't want us to use our brain. So I don't know. Again, I don't want to be like a miniature conspiracy theorist or anything because I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe that if there's a valid reason, it's kind of like a legend or a fairy tale. A lot of times they'll say, well, there's a grain of truth behind that. Well, let's find that grain of truth and eliminate all the other crap, and let's see, is that truth really truth, or is it just something we thought was truth all along, and we were just going along with it because it was easy, They don't want you to question things. Don't question. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Enjoy the show. The Romans learned this also with bread and circuses. I think somebody put that in the comment, before, is the way you entertain masses and everything is oh, I hid yours by mistake there, Stacy, when you were talking about generators and everything. I accidentally hit it by mistake. My fat fingers hit it. But it was like, yeah. I don't know how to unhide it once I've done it. Let me see. View deleted message. Maybe I can unhide it. Uh-oh. You did it now. Oh, whoa. Look what happened. View deleted message. Whoops. Oh, well. Let me try to get early morning live. Sorry, you quit unexpectedly last time. No, I didn't quit. There's Jerome. He's crazy like me. If Jerome ever gets his own YouTube channel, you got to watch him, man, because I could tell from interacting with people that Jerome is a brother nut. All right, Jerome. So we're gonna have to give you some bad news that I just found out also, and that is Jason Brown passed away. I think it was Jason Brown. Let me make sure. Yeah, he passed away Monday. Oh, later on, Jock. Thanks for dropping by. But yeah, we had another tragedy in our knife community, and he's got a. I'm gonna look at it and everything. He's got a GoFundMe page and all this stuff because he left behind a wife and kids, and yeah, this has happened to us quite a bit. Randy F. I was just doing I just did a tribute to Randy F. Recently, where I was gonna use this knife. I'm keeping it, by the way, because sentimental value. Like I said, Randy F. didn't directly give me this knife. He gave it to Zach's stuff on when Zach had a giveaway, and Zach was doing a multiple giveaway, and he was doing some drawing the names, and he drew my name. I went, whoa, I won a knife, and I looked at it, I really, I researched, from where what he was talking about, where it came from. Who is Aaron Hogue, the guy from like Hogue Deca or Hogue? Yeah, but yeah, we lose people all the time, and sometimes it's going to be people in the knife community. We lost who was it? The Frost, the guy of Frost Knives. He died of Rona. He died from Rona, and he was a major part of the knife community. He's the one that put up the cutlery corner. Yeah, Jason was such a great guy, man. He would come in there and he would joke around, and he would talk in almost every knife live stream. If I popped into a live stream, he was there, and he wasn't stuck up, man. He would say hello to you personally. He would say, "Hey, how's it going?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, hello," you know. And yeah, really, it's really terrible when stuff like that happens, and we just have to um, mourn in our own way, and remember them. Remember the best things you can about them, and try not to focus on the sorrow and everything. I haven't read a post about him, Andrew. Hello. Um, I just found out about it in this live stream. Stacy was telling me about it, and it's like, wow. See, that's the thing. If you see someone every day, let's say it's your neighbor, and you have a good relationship with your neighbor, and you say, "Hello, how's it going?" And he just tells you, basic stuff about his life and everything, and then one day he doesn't greet you, and you ask what happened and everything, and you find out he died. You know, like I said, I know about grief, man. I've had, um, like I said, when I was 50 years old, I had a 21-year-old Native American girlfriend, and I figured, wow, she loved me and I loved her, and she was definitely 21. I kept making sure that I'm like, man, they're gonna get me for robbing the cradle. That's considered statutory rape, even if though they consent. If they're under the legal age of being able to have intercourse, um, that's considered statutory rape. So I verified it and everything. But yeah, we were in love and everything, and she was up in Santa Fe, and I was in Albuquerque. I was working in Intel in the chip manufacturer, and so I go up there on the weekends. I'd have like 3 days off. That was a good company on pay. I had 3 days off straight, and I was up there with Uncle Junior. He's a Native American Apache. If you have a stereotype in your head of what an Apache, an old Apache looks like, that looks like him. He's long hair, white, withered face, and everything. He's a really good guy. Well, she was his niece or a related to him, and we were sitting there just chilling out one day, and a guy we know comes through the door and he goes, "Hey, did you hear the word?" "What?" And he goes, "Shawana's dead." She was my girlfriend. I mean, we weren't living together or everything. I hadn't talked to her recently, but yeah, she was dead, and she died walking across the road. Two cars ran her over. She was wearing a black hoodie. It was at night. It was a country road where the speed limit should be like 30, but because it's a country road in Texas, they were going like 60, and so she got hit by one car, and then the other car finished off the job if she wasn't already dead. And man, I mean that's when it hits you. Here's somebody that was much younger than me. Um, I think a better person. You know, Well, it still gets you. I mean, that was like at least 20 years ago. You know, I mean, so that I try whenever I think of her. I try I try to think of just the good stuff, but I think of the loss, not just to me, but to society, that here was a very good person, and they're gone. Sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional here. But yeah, it's all in how we cope with things, man. And for me, I went the wrong way with coping on that one. I tried to find out what was in the bottom of a bottle, a lot, and just basically let my life go for quite a while. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that's PTSD, man, post traumatic stress disorder. It's all in how you handle stuff. And I had PTSD when I was in the military. It wasn't because of the military, but while I was in there. And you get to the point where it's going to take you years before you can discuss, before you can even relate the story without. Man, I couldn't. It was the abduction of my niece that caused me PTSD. Uh, my niece got abducted while I was on leave, and we spent a week basically hunting her down and getting her back. And man, nobody died in that, but it was a life and death situation more than once. Um, and I could not talk about that story for the longest time. My throat would tighten up. It would restrict, and my breathing would get harder. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking that she was still being held captive. God, I don't know, man. This is getting to be a weird stream here because I've dealt with these. Man, this was in 1970, 76 or 77, and look what it still does. So yeah, it's all in how you handle uh, life of loss and stress. And I think I'm going to need to end this live stream now because I'm getting too affected by all of this. And it is nice to remember people. Let's just all remember Jason and Randy and all those people that we have in the knife community, like Warthog. Also, he's not dead, but he's got a terminal illness, you know. And really, I just want to leave this with: we should all, uh, uh, embrace, do something kind for someone. It doesn't necessarily mean uh, you have to spend money. It's just actions, even kind words. Hello, Philip. I'm sorry, we're about to close this one down because I found out that Jason Brown had died, and then I started going through people in my life that had died, and then life and death situations, and it wound up getting to me because yeah, I'm still human. Things that happened 20 years ago or 40 years ago still get me, and I really appreciate all of you here that attended this because really this is therapy for me. A lot of people just get to the point where they can't take things and they think that they have the answer. And the answer is never ending everything. That is never the answer. So anybody that ever feels that, please, call the suicide hotline and get some help, get some professional help because uh, people might give you advice, but they don't always know what they're talking about. And if you can work it out on your own, that's fine. But if you ever get to the point where it's black and white, where you think the only way out of this, the only way you're going to be able to end the pain, is if you end it yourself, you you are wrong in your logic. And I'll tell you what has stopped me before. It will not end with you ending. People that you love and care about you are going to kick themselves in the ass and torture themselves for the rest of their life, thinking they should have seen the signs and said something. So you're going to cause pain on other people if you do that. You're going to be selfish. You're going to be causing pain to other people. So I encourage anybody, especially veterans that have gone through a lot and seen a lot, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. You know, you're here for a reason, and that reason is uh, up to you and your life. You know. But anyway, sorry, man, I got into a philosophical rant. I got into an emotional rant, and we talked about politics. I mean, the only thing we haven't talked about is religion, and that's up to you. You know, I'm not going to bring that one in this conversation because I've already uh, flustered myself enough just remembering all the stuff that's gone on and stuff that goes on. So, thank you everyone for watching this live stream, and if you're watching it in a replay, thank you for watching the replay. And everybody, have a nice day, and please, tell someone uh, you love them, especially if you do, because they may not be there the next time you see them, or you might not be there. So, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.